Hello, welcome. I'll tell you, I am just a couple minutes late because I was reading the chat and you guys are so lovely to each other. So all the greetings were happening and that just warmed my heart. Like that was so kind. So let me join the greetings and say hi to Rob. And Rob, you were first in the chat. I don't know that we have a prize for that, but I'm very impressed. Chris, Margaret Alice, Mel, and John King, and Ashley, and Andrew. Welcome, welcome. Let's see, my little, here we go. And Trude. Oh, and Dave. Anna. Oh my goodness, lots of people tonight. And Mags. Oh, and Siggy. I think I said Andrew, but I can't remember, so I'm saying it again. And hello, Joy. Oh, didn't mean to do that. So, anyway, welcome, welcome, all of you. And I don't know what kind of weather you're all personally experiencing, but oh, I think Robin's here too. I missed her. I'm sorry. Hi, Robin. Uh, Speaking of Robin, next week Robin is on with Steve at Digwell Green Fingers. And we're going to be talking about last minute ideas for Christmas gifts for your favorite gardener, which might very well be you. And you need to get yourself a gift or leave a very cryptic note for one of your loved ones so that they know what to get you. Like, say, please get me this. Uh, okay, so I don't know what kind of weather you're all experiencing right now, but we are cold, 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 and it's definitely the garden season for me is at least the outdoor garden season for me is over. Um, over. Uh, we worked very hard yesterday to get the celeriac out, and my raised beds were quite frozen. So that was like we were like an archaeological dig trying to get it out. Got it out. Was not thrilled with. They looked bigger before we pulled them, so it was not a great. It was not a great harvest, and we worked very hard to get those out. So anyway, uh, had a great harvest before this really cold started of fennel and turnips, last of the turnips, couple of beets, which was great. It was great. So I immediately went to, well, what are we going to do next year? And I know we've chatted about this a little bit, but I thought, okay, Robin bought all her presents on Cyber Monday. I love it. Yeah, we should probably do that before Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Next year, we'll do that. I'll make a note of that. Uh, anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so before, and I'm going to say we were going to talk about planning for next year, but I think like the first thing to do is think about what worked this year, what didn't work, how you're going to change maybe what you're doing. You're going to try something new. I like to dream about my garden between now and like the first of the year. So I kind of take the month of December just to kind of think what could be if I, yeah, what could be, and work on doing some research on areas that I think could be better. Uh, some things I grew that I'm not sure I want to grow again. And hi, Allie or Trisha. I'm not sure. I'm assuming it's Allie. Um, at work listening. uh, so I just like to think about, and what would I like to, maybe what I'd like to try. What would I like to, how would I like to redesign, like where I put things, so that I'm all about visual as well as practical. So I like to um, think about how could I make it also a prettier garden. Now, I'm different than a lot of you. My garden is my backyard, so visuals are a little bit maybe more important because this is my home. But I think it's also, even for an allotment, I think, wouldn't it be nice if you got up there and it was also lovely to look at, right? So I like to dream about that. Like, what could this be? Um, and how productive do I really want it to be? So I don't know about you, but I've started to get flooded with oh, epic gardening. I don't know if everyone knows what epic gardening is. I'll put that up. It's a US company, and it's also he Epic Gardening now owns botanical interests, which are lovely seeds. And yeah, so I think either Epic Gardening or botanical interests will get you to that sale. Everybody, I'm getting inundated every day with emails, 40% off, 50% off. Um, it's that time of year, but then you also have to go, but that's last year's seed. So be careful. What I wouldn't be doing is buying parsnip seeds on one of those sales, right? Oh, Dave is going to be building, excuse me, excuse me, major project over Christmas is starting to build a shed. I want to start everything without heating and grow lights. Okay, great. So I'm imagining you're going to have some glass in that shed, right? Because yeah, or maybe that's not where you're doing that, but I get it. If you could, it'd be nice if we could all do that, wouldn't it? No lights, no nothing. Um, Mel just ordered seeds from Thompson and Morgan, which I know is a British seed company. Uh, let's see what else. I'm trying to read. Okay, Allie is getting her giant onion entry. I hear there's like a giant onion competition going on. I have not seen that, but there's a couple people talking about trying to enter this giant seed, our onion competition. Margaret has gone overboard. I love it when people are overboard on seeds. On flowers, most are edible and useful for beneficial insects. Definitely doing more of the same. Yeah, I think flowers get, I don't know, in the production gardens, where we're also growing food. I think they get a bad rap, and I think no, they're beautiful. They're gorgeous to look at. You can take some in and put them in a vase, and your home. I loved it because I had several vases that were filled with flowers all summer. It was lovely. Um, Lovely. So I'm all for that. I think we all need a little bit more of that in our life. Dave's got a big oh, lovely. Big window in the front, 6 feet by 4 feet. That is a big window. That's so lovely. Love that'll be a very happy place. So it's yeah, that'll be a very happy place for your seedlings. Um, Chris, who is renovating a new plot, erect his greenhouse and polytunnel over the winter. Well, Chris, um, I hope it doesn't take you as long as JB's because I think that was like 8 or 10 videos to get his greenhouse going. But I have a feeling it could be done maybe a little quicker. I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't deal with all the stuff. So, but maybe you'll get oh, okay. Rob's saying that a guy called Pete started a giant onion challenge. Everybody uses the same seeds. Okay. A guy named Pete. I'm gonna Google that later. Guy named Pete. Oh, I love spring bulbs. Went crazy on the spring bulb sale, 70% off. Exactly. They're almost paying you to take these home. So, Andrew, I applaud. I applaud that behavior. I think is Robin doing it too? Allie is sending me the seed, but apparently there is a Canadian postal strike. Oh, yes, there is a Canadian postal strike. Okay. So that's going to take a minute to get to you. Um, Siggy's got theirs. They came this morning. Oh, we've got a cut flower going. I'm doing a cut flowered garden. Oh, for drying, that's a whole different. I know status is great for drying, and everybody chime in here because, but I'm not necessarily a fan of status. What else would dry beautifully? Because you do want them to straw flowers, because quite frankly, they look dry when you grow them, but I think they hold their color well. And I think that's the trick when you're trying to dry flowers is retaining their color. Another one is, and it's a very architectural one. The name will come to me. Sea holly. Absolutely gorgeous structure. And I have dried those, and those look almost identical to what. But I love zinnias just for cutting, and I don't try. I don't try to dry them, uh, but they're beautiful and they just keep going, and they last. They probably have a 2 week, week and a half to 2 week vase life, so they're very nice for not having um, to replace them. Like every time you're outside. Uh, let's see. There we go. Margaret's saying, I agree. I pick a small amount of flowers and also veg, like rocket, when they go to seed, and put it outside on my back garden table. Yeah, no, and I think any kind of like, I think when vegetables go to seed and flower, the bees and the beneficials just take to that like um it's like catnip to them. And I don't know, I mean, I imagine that's how that was kind of designed to be. But I think, wow, yeah, anything that you can leave, because they're always so kind of lacy and pretty, and they wave in the wave in the wind beautifully. Oh, his name is Pete Trenuth. Okay, thank you, Rob. Excuse me. Okay. S- Oh, yes. Ashley's got a great idea. Another like baby's breath for drying. It's beautiful. I also think some of the bread seed poppies um, are beautiful. Those, I mean, they get these big, huge seed pods on top. Uh, I think that's kind of stunning in flower arrangements. Very beautiful. Oh, nice. I've never grown Chinese lanterns or dried them, but I mean they're very cool looking for sure. For sure. Are your seed catalogs like pouring in now? I'm uh I'm getting one now almost every day. And this is my month to go through them with little sticky notes. I just I put a sticky note on every page where I like something. And then I have to come to the reality portion of the garden planting season and go, okay, how much do I have? How much room do I have to actually grow? So I have to kind of cull my list a little bit. Um, notwithstanding everything I grew this year that I liked. Um, yeah, so that's really what I do like this next month. I just dream about what could be. Uh, oh, Chris, this is a great question. How many of you have saved seeds this year ready for the new season? I saved one flower full of seeds. That's all I did. And it was the coolest looking zinnia out of this whole packet of zinnias, this one. It was very layered and it was gorgeous. So I saved seed from that one. I don't know if I'll get another one out of it. I'm gonna plant a bunch and see if I can't reproduce that one. If not, they're beautiful orange zinnias, so I won't mind them at all. Uh, but I am trying to get more into the whole seed. So it's not a habit yet for me. And a lot of tomato seeds. Okay. Rob's got tomato seeds. Allie has saved, she said lots. And she had a ton of tomatoes. She said every tomato. She has every tomato she has seeds from, and that's a lot. Rob takes his catalogs on holiday. Absolutely. Uh, okay. Perfect timing. Margaret is going to try to grow more seeds for seed pods. I do like a few. I do a few like Nigella and Poppy. Gonna spend the winter investigating. What a great thing to do over the winter. Do a little investigating because oh my goodness, there's so many sources. And here's the deal with like YouTube stuff or any internet stuff. You have to just be careful what advice you're taking, right? Um, but also, if it's just like varieties of things, much easier to call that information and find out if it's accurate or not because somebody's selling them and somebody would have detailed information on them. So I guess that was just another like, don't believe everything you hear on the internet or on the YouTube because it's not always accurate. I try really hard to be, but I'm sure maybe it works for me, but maybe it doesn't work for anybody else. Right? Um, okay. Robin is like the seed saver extraordinaire. Yeah, no, she like saves more seeds than anybody I've heard about or know about. So if you have any seed questions, Robin at Robin Gardens is the person to talk to about that. And Trude has saved a bunch as well from flowers and herbs. Also collected seeds on my walks with my dog. Oh, interesting. So things that you saw that were pretty or looked interesting, you took some seeds. I love it. Dave has saved 5 or 6. You know, I think we got to start somewhere, right? I saved 1. Next year, I even bought the little bags that you put over, like the one that you want to save, so the bees leave it alone. Yeah. So we'll see. But I'm heading in that direction. Oh, John, you're just such a kind man. John will be sowing tomato seeds. Audrey's love. Isn't that sweet? Yeah, I got to find it. I think that's a dwarf tomato. I mean, I'm not tall, but you know. But anyway, I think it grows nice and short and easy to pick. So I'm going to check out the dwarf, or do they call them? Yeah, they are dwarf tomatoes. Um, there's a whole thing on dwarf tomatoes and where you can get them and all of that. So I think I might try that one too, John, because I it's very novel, if nothing else, right? Uh, okay, Dave grows F1s for blight resistance. Yep. You got to do what you got to do, right? And here's the beauty of F1s. They're more prolific usually. Don't want to make too many generalizations, but they're usually more prolific, and their ability to withstand disease is so much better. You don't always get the same flavor that you get out of a nice heirloom, but you know, I grow a couple heirlooms just because I love the flavor of them. But I must admit, most of my tomatoes are F1s too, because they just do better. Um, now that's a good twist, Joy, to put on maybe having uh, a rougher year this year, as most of us did. Uh, she saved a lot more seeds because there was a poor harvest. Uh, turn a negative into a positive. I think that's a great solution. Margaret agrees about the internet. I look in many places, books too. Yeah. And I never trust even just one book, right? I mean, I'm sure we all have our garden catalog of books. But it's all about what is their philosophy in gardening? How do they do it? What's their climate like? Because what works for me uh, might not work for someone in a tropical climate. Obviously, it will not, because I deal with great fluctuations in temperature. So, yeah, I think we all just have to kind of do our own due diligence whenever we're getting advice and if honestly, here's the thing that I really don't appreciate is when someone says it's the only way. I'm like, no, it's gardening, honey. There's so many ways to do it. And hi, Pocahontas. Good to have you. Okay, John, it is a dwarf. Good. That's what I thought it was. Well, bush tomato is probably a little more PC than dwarf tomatoes. Um, Okay. And the yellows with the purple tops are like Alice's Dream and Sart Rolloise, I think. But they're so good. Um, so good. Okay, let's see. Oh, everyone's chatting with each other. I love that. Oh, Rob's gets a lot. See, we don't have that over here because I mean, we have like, I don't even know of gardening magazines that I would subscribe to here. Um, so I get from magazine I subscribe to, I asked council if I could sow them randomly. Oh, and they said no because they might spread. Well, right, we all have to, like, we all got to answer to somebody, right? But wouldn't it be nicer to look at flowers than weeds? Uh, Dave, absolutely correct. There's no one way. If it works for you, it works. Uh, Wolverine. There's a tomato called Wolverine. I'm gonna get some of that. Oh. Okay, thank you. I am gonna try those. Uh, oh, I almost want to go look that up right now, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna be patient. I'm going to wait a few moments. So we've done some seed saving, and the goal obviously is for next year's garden. And I think we take maybe this month to dream about things and look through all those yummy seed catalogs. I just got the new Baker Creek catalog, and I think it's over 500 pages. I mean, it is like it's like a book. I don't always order everything from Baker Creek, but I love their catalog. They've become kind of controversial over the last couple of years about some of their choices. So I'm just very, very leery sometimes. And I also want to make sure my dollars are going to seed companies that either don't take positions on issues or which I kind of feel like most shouldn't, unless, particularly when they're okay. I said enough. I'm not going to say anymore. Um, uh, yeah. Well, I'm hoping against hope that we're going to a Wrexham football game when we're in the UK next year. And I think it's their last home game of the season. So I'm kind of hoping that Ryan Reynolds might show up. I don't know that he will. And that he might bring his friend Hugh. And, just for a little distraction during the game, whatever. Uh, so we'll see. And if he does, I will send photos, don't worry. Uh, Nancy is sticking with cherry tomatoes, as I found they work better if container gardening. Yeah, they do. And man, cherry tomatoes, they just don't stop. I mean, unless you legit kill the plant, uh, they just don't. They're the last ones to produce in the garden. I mean, they just go, 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 go. But okay, thank you, Mama. I will, I know it's not, but Wolverine is also a wonderful character in a movie. So I'm going to try that one. Oh, see, now that's awesome. I mean, the only reason to know a variety, right, is to pass it on so someone else can give it. But if they've given you seeds and it's the best, it's like, who cares what variety, right? It's fabulous. So good for you. Just keep growing that one. Oh, so you're thinking the opposite. You might do less cherries. Now, I have started cooking with my cherries in different ways. Um, and it's wonderful. We do it's like a pasta dish, and it's made with just cherry tomatoes, garlic, a little onion. So it's a really light, like summer pasta dish. Oh my gosh, so good. And then I'll usually throw in either some fresh basil or fresh spinach, and it's absolutely lovely. But I get what you mean about making sauces. If you're trying to make sauce and some of the bigger tomato products, it much easier with bigger ones too, because you just don't have to do as much work, I guess. But I love this cherry. And then we also put them right into a frittata frozen. So I freeze just little bags of cherries and make a frittata, throw them in there, absolutely frozen, and they're wonderful. I just realized I didn't turn my light on, so I'm kind of dark, so I apologize for that. But I don't want to turn it on now because it'll be frightening bright. Well, Chris, you're right in the middle of doing that whole, I mean, you're preparing your plot, right? Yes, loads of paper. Yes. And then, and here's the cool part with even like planning is it's going to change on the spot, because you'll start doing something and go, oh no, that might work better. So, that's the beauty about planning and about gardens, actually, is that they can be adjusted. Nothing's all that permanent. Even if you have raised beds, they can be moved. It's not easy, but they can be moved. Oh, Chris is getting excited about next year. Me too, because nothing like getting a fresh start. I'm sad on one level because I'm going to miss the spring garden here because I'm going to be over in the UK. But I wouldn't trade that for this coming spring. But stuff will still be happening here at the garden, even though I will not be here. Is the Tom you do sun-dried called Borghese? Yes. Yes, it's Principe Borghese, I think. And oh my word, they make the best sun-dried tomatoes, the best. Yes, Mel, correct. Yep, Mel's got it. Yep. Oh, they're so good. But they really, um, they're, I mean, they're okay fresh, but if you dry them, it's candy. Candy. Guerilla garden. Now, what is guerilla gardening? I'm going to be careful, won't use invasive species, but my older and new seeds are going to be placed in pockets. Explain to me what guerilla, I've heard of chaos gardening. I have not heard of guerilla gardening. Sounds kind of fun. Uh, oh, see, I think. Oh, and we've got a couple folks that are like dissing the Brads. Uh, yeah, I did not enjoy mine this year, but I think it's because for me it was a really bad growing year. Um, Normally I really like them. See, oh, John's on there too. Well, it maybe this is like cilantro. You like it or you don't. I don't know. Don't waste your time. Okay. Uh okay. Oh, you don't have to say you're sorry. I mean, we all have our own palates and our own taste, and um I just remember the first time trying Brad's. To me, it was the most tomatoey tomato I ever ate. Um, it was delicious, but although I still grow them and I still like them, this year was not a great year uh, for almost anything for me. It was an okay year, it just wasn't very good. Um, but I also will throw them in with sauces that I make or other things, mix them in with some of my big tomatoes. Okay. Yeah, I was not a big fan of Atomic Fusion either. I thought it tasted waterier than Brad's. Um, yeah, I think this year I'm trying really hard not to um, judge a lot of things based on this year's harvest. Oh, that was so fun. Okay. uh, I think it was Mike. Is it Mike? Yes. Uh, I dressed up like a Brad's Atomic Grape 2 years ago for the Halloween show on Potty Mouth. That was so much fun. I had such a. I've got to. Okay, help me, those of you from the UK. How do I get these three UKers I'm on with to like have a little fun and dress up for Halloween? Come on. It's not that. I mean, I don't go out on the street like that. It was just for this little show. But anyway, that was so fun. That was probably one of my most fun days on that program. Guerrilla gardening. Okay. Guerrilla gardening is filling empty spaces without asking permission. Love it. I I got some advice from my aunt on my wedding day, which was a year or two ago, that said better to ask forgiveness than permission. And I've always carried that to this day as one of my mottos. Like particularly if it's something like I'm planting seeds. Sorry. Um, okay. And we've got Margaret's aunt sprinkling seed in wild areas. Garrett Brassica's too. Okay. So they just happen to fall out of your pocket when you're walking around. Yeah, and if you know they're not invasive, like, go for it. I think Joy is, um, saying, like, you don't wanna spread invasive species. I think that's absolutely true, but if you know they're not invasive, um, I don't know, I would say go for it. Oh, you can never harvest them all, Trude, sorry. Jerusalem artichokes. Uh, okay. Once you plant those, um, rarely are you rid of them. And it's just it is a crazy. I after reading a lot, I did a lot of research on those before I planted them. So um I do, and when I grow those, I only grow them in pots because I really want to um make sure I don't have them everywhere. I planted a morning glory once in one of my beds because I liked how it trailed and I thought it'd be pretty. I was going to have it trail around the edge of the bed. I mean, I had all these dreams. And now, we've probably been here 12 years now, still shows up every year somewhere in my garden. And I'm thinking, I planted it once. I think maybe 3 seeds, still shows up. So I think morning glory is one of those ones you don't really want to you don't really want to grow unless you just absolutely love it and don't care if it grows up everywhere, because that to me is kind of invasive for sure. I've seen some YouTube channels making seed bombs. The bomb contains soil and clay and a bit of fertilizer and seeds. Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of a clever name because it's bombs, because it's guerrilla gardening. Okay. Uh, oh, Steve. So I've grown Steve's favorite, Shirley. Yeah, he used to call that a good doer. Uh, oh, I miss him. Still miss him. Oh, I bet Tony even now does mischief night. Doesn't he? He has that twinkle in his eye, like you just know there's something going on in there. Yeah, I think he likes a little um uh he's just a bit he has a big personality. Uh yeah, are you talking about morning glories? Well, good thing I never grew them again. Oh, wow, I get it because that's what it acts like. Um yeah, Steve was the best. He was good guy. I still go back and watch his channel sometimes just to see him. Uh yeah, so let's not grow morning glories like at all. Um yeah. Okay, I'm going to say a word about Barry's crazy cherry cuz I think I sent those seeds to Steve. Um a lot of big trusses. You get a lot of big trusses, but the tomato was a little underwhelming. I think we were all trying to grow that year. It's not a tomato I would grow again. But I'm not trying to say don't try to grow it, Mel. I'm just saying you might not, the flavor might disappoint a little bit. Yes, I think we all need to not judge anything we grew this year because I mean the weather was just it was not good, and I know that's an easy statement for a gardener to make, but it really wasn't. And yeah, so I think it's wise particularly if you were even on the if it was even like on the border of whether you'd like it or not, I would say try it again because you never know what you might find. Okay. Okay, so getting back to planning for next year, and we'll kind of we've got about 15 minutes. So we give ourselves time to dream about it, maybe think about new varieties that we might want to try. Uh oh yeah. Yeah, wood is very expensive right now. I actually think, those metal beds that they're selling, I think those are actually probably cheaper than trying to build your own. Oh, good question, Chris. Let's ask everyone that. What changes is everyone doing next year, if any? Any additions, new structures? Good luck with that one. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, that won't last long at all. I I don't even know if it's possible, is it? Because they always entice the way they write it up too, they always entice you with little words like, oh, more disease resistant, more this. Uh, oh, nice. Uh, Justice put their sweet corn in early and they did super well compared to putting them in later. Awesome. It's always good if you can, sometimes it's not even the variety we do, but it's getting that sweet spot uh, on how they grow. Awesome. Okay, Mike is next spring is all about getting my new second plot cleared. You're getting a second plot. Awesome. Wow. You and Chris should talk because uh, kind of the same thing. Uh, heritage heritage varieties, and they taste so good, don't they? They taste so good. Oh, I think John is going to be planting lots of tomatoes that he has never seen or grown before. And that's always kind of like, it's almost like um, digging potatoes, right? You're not sure what you're going to get. But I always think that's kind of fun to see what happens. Oh wow, I've missed 6 months of YouTube, so need to try and catch up, but oh my goodness. That'll take you 6 months, I imagine. Uh, I hope you're well and it wasn't, um or it was just something maybe you did to cut your YouTube watching down. Um, but I hope all is well. Uh, Rob is gonna grow a new potato called Manitou. Same one Steve Digwell used for his single seed potato. Single seed potato challenge. Yes. Well, he's kind of the potato dude, so I think you're in good company if you grow one he's growing. Mm. Yeah, chard is one of those things. I agree. Chard uh, has such a unique flavor. The problem is I kind of grow chard just because it's pretty. I like growing the dark leaved varieties, and it's just stunning. Or some with like the yellow uh, stem in the center or the magenta stem. I mean, I think they're beautiful. Um, but I leaned into lettuce last year, and I will always do that now because we picked a salad like every day, and it was lovely. And I interplanted like little bunches of spring onions so we could get that with I mean it was just a great little system last year. So wow. Oh, just as gutting. It got the plot 2 months ago, so I'm a bit stuck. Sure. But once the weather changes, it's gonna be so much easier to deal with than with all this um, the cold and the wet. And now, wow, Chris, that's not a plot. That is, I don't know what you would call that. That's huge, huge. Plot hasn't been worked for at all over 6 years. Oh, yeah, that's the I want sometimes when I see the state of the plots that some of you get, I just think, "Oh, yeah, it just looks like a ton of work." Okay, that seems like a very large space. 2,700 square feet? Yeah, that seems kinda huge for unless I'm very, hmm, because I was told because we're going over to the UK next spring that I'll be surprised by how much smaller the plots seem than they do on YouTube because they look really huge on YouTube. Um, wow, that seems enormous. Robin is gonna there'll be a big change. Will be Birdie's beds to replace my oldie but goodie cinder block beds. Also a green stalk planter. So my garage will be an assembly line this winter. You betcha. Is this your first green stalk planter? If it is, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. You just need to water it a lot. But I got an irrigation system set up. I'll change the way my green stalks grow. It's absolutely fabulous. Uh, Joy's got her fingers crossed for a shed greenhouse and more fruit plants. Nice persimmon. I don't know. I don't know, hosta? A mulberry? Mulberries are beautiful. I have a friend with a mulberry, very big mulberry. I don't even want to call it a bush. I want to call it a tree. It's enormous. So I'm gonna go and okay, good. So I'm gonna go and harvest from that this year. Oh, I'm so glad. Change in job. Awesome. Good. We want to make sure everybody's doing okay. Mel is also saying a Rudolph potato is a very good. And I think that obviously is a UK variety. Sometimes we have similar ones, but I've not heard of that one. Okay. I'm planning on doing less and definitely less outdoors after this year. I'm getting rid of a few beds and going to try and not overcrowd. Now, that's my weakness, is the overcrowding, because I feel like, if I've nurtured this little seed from a baby, it's really hard for me to get rid of them. So I try to jam them in. But Tony of Tony C. Smith really made big room in his beds and got some of the best harvests he's ever gotten. So there's probably something to that. However, I don't know if I can do that. I mean, I can in my head, and then it gets down to it, and I have to sacrifice these beautiful little seedlings. So I have across the street, like directly across the street, there is a little gardening. It's kind of like a gardening lending library. I don't know what else to call it. The family across the street does this. So you can drop off seeds, you can pick up seeds, you can drop off produce, you can pick up produce. If you have extras. So maybe next year I will just regift those to that, and then I won't feel bad. And if they die, I don't even have to know it. So that might help me. Mike has more space, so I'm planning on having an asparagus bed. I love my asparagus bed. Yeah. But you have to really be able to enjoy asparagus for quite a while, like 6 weeks, because they start once you're able to pick them, they come in pretty fast and pretty consistent. So, and I've tried preserving asparagus. I'm gonna try to pickle some this year and see if that might work. But some of the other ways, I don't like frozen asparagus. I don't like canned asparagus. So, yeah, actually, there is a place. I'll have to remember the name of it. It's either, is it in, it's in Sweden, maybe? And they sell them to the UK and the EU. Yeah, I'll try to remember that. Maybe somebody in the chat remembers that. Wow, okay. I am way behind in this chat. So sorry if I missed your stuff. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, Robin, yes, it is her first. Okay, that's right. That's right. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I am going to have to go back and read all of this, which I do after we're done running live because I know I missed so much. Okay. Now Danny from oh, he changed his name. Danny at Grow Up. Oh my gosh. Does this at the end of his videos or end of his lives, and I thought, what a great idea. If we have people in the chat who have YouTube channels, please take a minute and type them in so that we're all community and we can all share in it. So type your channel in, and that way everybody can know where you are. So we'll give you just a minute or two to do this, and then we'll sign off. Oh, awesome. Oh, Mel remembered the name. Oh, good. Good. Yeah, such a nice group. Such a lovely group. Okay, so get your... Yes, as far as I know, we can grow carrots in the US. I've heard something about that, but I mean, I can still buy bushes. So I'm not sure that they're banned. Yeah. Okay, so we are over the hour. Thank you all. Appreciate you so much showing up. I was a little tired this morning and I thought, you know what? This is like a good thing for me every week. And I just enjoy so much all your chatting and how much you add to the gardening community. So thank you, and you all just have lovely week. Hopefully there's another video of mine coming out Friday. I'm trying to do a video every Friday, and got one up last week. So anyway, okay. So let's see, what is it? Plugging live on Grow Up tomorrow. Okay, awesome. All right, so you all take care. Same time, same place next week. I will see you then. Bye now.